Hey people, and welcome to my screen. Like I said earlier, today we're going to be speaking about how do you go about plotting your support and resistance in the most effective way. How do you go about using support and resistance as a strategy to profit in the foreign exchange market? And most importantly, how the hell do you just plot this support and resistance? Because I see a lot of charts and they just look absolutely terrible. So like I said earlier today, guys, we're going to be diving into my chart so that I can show you guys how to get this shit done. All right, guys, so excuse me, the first pair we're going to be using as an example is GBP USD. As you can see clearly, before I proceed, you have to understand that I'm doing this on TradingView. TradingView is my preferred platform for analysis. I don't do this on MT4, I don't do this on MT5. I use TradingView as my preferred form of I use TradingView as my preferred platform for analysis. Okay, guys, so first things first, if you want to go ahead and plot support and resistance, please don't go ahead plotting your support and resistance on 1 hour or 30 minutes or 15 minutes. Those levels are just not strong enough to hold. That's why you always notice that the market keeps blowing past your levels, right? You probably have like 6 or 12 support and resistance on your chart, and then the market is just not respecting those levels. Now, the reason that is happening is because you guys are not plotting your support and resistance on the correct time frame, right? So the time frame you want to be looking at to plot your support and resistance is actually the weekly and the daily time frame, and I'll be showing you guys how to do just that. Now, another thing I want to highlight is that support and resistance is not a line. Okay, support and resistance is not just a line where I just come and put this is my support. Support and resistance are actually zones, because you have to understand that there's a lot of spillover in orders, especially when we get to major levels, right? You have a lot of buyers and sellers fighting for dominance around those regions, so there tends to be a lot of spillover. And once they spill over around an area of support and resistance, you tend to see the wicks really spike up, okay, and then come back down, and then, you know, close below the major levels. So a line cannot really do justice to those levels. I'll just show you what I mean right about now. So you, for example, this, you can't really tell if this is your support, or if this area is your support, or this area is your support, right? So we have 3 areas of support just in this very short space. So you're not really certain as to, you know, where you should put your line. That's exactly why I always like to use what they call zones, right? Now, what are zones? This is exactly what zones look like. Excuse me. All right, this is exactly what zones look like. I've just shown you what a zone looks like. So this, my friend, is what I always like to use as my support and resistance, because think about it, support and resistance is not a line, it's an entire zone in the market of probably about 30 to 50 pips, okay, can be an entire support and resistance level. Yes, guys. So this is for major levels, right? Major levels are probably between 10 to 30 pips in width. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to go ahead plotting these levels on a chart. Right now, the next thing I want you guys to understand is, okay, I already said this, weekly and daily time frames are where you should ideally be looking to come and plot your levels. All right, guys, so let's get to some serious business. Right now, the first thing I'm going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out my chart. As you can see, I need to see everything, right? I need to see, if possible, I need to see maybe 20 years back. I just want to see how the market reacted in the past, right? As you can see, nothing has really happened that much in the past. So now I can come back and look at the most immediate aspect of the market, right? Which is about here. This is the most immediate trend that has formed in GBP USD at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and look out for the most obvious step 1. Look out for the most obvious areas of rejection, right? And the most obvious area of rejection right now seems to be here. As you can see, I'm going to expand the width slightly just so that we can cover as much area as possible. As you can see, so I have my first level of support. I have my what? First level of support. Good. Now the second one is Now if you want to, all I simply did, guys, I just came here, highlighted it and cloned it. Now cloning simply means that it's just going to produce another level just like this. It's not going to plot it for you, it's just going to basically create another zone for you, and it's your duty to carry it and go and plot it, right? So I've plotted the first most obvious level of rejection, and I'm going to look for the second most obvious level of rejection, and the second most obvious level of rejection looks like this one, right? Don't forget, you can see how I'm putting it so that it covers all the necessary areas. All the necessary areas must be covered, right? All the necessary areas must be what? Covered. Now, the third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the middle of the chart for a level somewhere in the middle that we have a certain level of rejection, right? So all I do is I simply come here, I will clone this, it will create another one for me, and I can see a very high level of rejection at this level. Now you're probably wondering, how am I spotting this so easily and so quickly? You have to understand that I've been doing this for 8 years, so my eyes are pretty much programmed to literally identify levels of rejection, right? So I can see that this is a very good level of rejection. The next one I can easily identify is about here. Okay, that's a very decent level of rejection. Now you're probably wondering, how do I what do I mean by a very decent level of rejection? Because you can see this market rejected here, 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 rejected it here, rejected it here, rejected it here, here. There was a cluster of trades around here, and you know, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons as to why I put my level about here. Okay, now let's look at the next one that I plotted, right? The next one that I plotted, as you can see, the market was testing here for a very long period of time. It was rejecting it, and then all of a sudden the market just bled all the way to the downside, right? The market also tested this. As you can see, the market tried to it broke above here, couldn't sustain it, came below it, came back up, and before the market started to rally to the upside, it tested it about here. The market tested the level here, tested it here, tested it here, tested it here. So I have about another 7 reasons as to why this level is here. Okay, so I have another one that I want you guys to have a look at. Another level has to be this one. Right now, the reason I'm actually putting the level here is because, now guys, I was trading this market at the time, and you have to understand that the way this market came into this level and held and turned around, I was so surprised, right? And I knew at that point that this was a major level of support or resistance, depending on where the market was trading at the time. Okay, now guys, as you can see, I've pretty much nicely highlighted, just make it look very beautiful. I like to make my charts look very beautiful because you have to understand that this is my office, right? This is what I do every single day. Well, not every single day, but most of my life I spend it in front of the chart. So I need to make it aesthetically appealing. Okay, I like to use a very nice color scheme as well. Now, as you can see, I've pretty much plotted these levels. These are very strong levels. It didn't take me 5 minutes to put them together. You can see how easy and straightforward it is. Now I'm going to come over to my daily time frame just to ensure that everything is looking pretty nicely. And as you can see, when you come on the daily time frame, you can see how the market was pretty much rejecting these levels that we have plotted so far. So all you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, at this point is, now you can zoom in. Now you can zoom in. As you can see, everything is looking really nice, and GBP/USD is pretty much pointing, well, we have a massive double bottom on a higher time frame, so the market is pretty much pointing back to the upside. Now if GBP/USD was to continue climbing, it's gonna keep climbing from one level to another level to another level to another level. These levels are going to guide you as you get into buy situations. As you can see, yesterday when I was having a one-to-one meeting with one of my clients, one of my students, right? We went long somewhere around here, and I told them to take out their position at this level about here. And as you can see, GBP/USD is pretty much coming into this level. Let me just adjust it slightly lower because I prefer it this way. As you can see, as GBP/USD is coming into this level, it seems to be slowing down. It's starting to lack momentum, and I can almost guarantee that once we come into here, we're going to see a lot of sell orders coming. We're going to see a lot of profit taking coming, because this is a major level of resistance. Now guys, you can now scroll down to even a 1 hour time frame. Excuse me. You can now scroll even to a lower time frame, and now you have major levels that are going to guide your trading. Okay, you have major levels that are going to guide your trading. Now don't get it twisted, guys. There's something called minor levels as well, which I'm going to be showing you right about now. But these major levels, do not touch them. Okay, do not touch these major levels. Just leave them. It doesn't take you 5 minutes to plot. They will literally guide you throughout your trading, at least for the next 6 months of your trading. Now the next thing I want to show you is minor levels, right? Because I mean, sometimes it's possible for the market to come into a level that's not a major level and still kind of react. Okay, so what I like to do is all the levels that didn't fall in line, all the levels that I feel that didn't fall in line with the major levels, but I feel are still major, I feel are still significant levels, I come and use another type of zone. Okay, so I call this the mind, like I feel this was this, because for the fact that the market came down here and reversed and created this entire uptrend, right? I believe this is a level to reckon with. This is a level you want to be fucking with, all right? Pardon my French, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically put a minor level here and just draw it all the way across like so. Okay, and as you can see, guys, when I drew this level about here, it was just these 2 points. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 points, right? This market came down. When it was coming back up, as you can see, this level rejected this market. Okay, so I put minor levels there, not to basically trade off of these levels, but just to help me identify that there's a major not a major level, but there's some form of liquidity around that zone that might affect my trading. Okay, so for instance, if I was going long about here, right, I won't be stupid enough to say, okay, I'm going to go long here and my overall take profit is going to be here because, oh, Dapsy said that the market goes from one level to another level. I'm obviously going to try and look in between for potential minor levels that might hinder my trade from going in my direction. Okay, I'll take that again. I'm going to look out for minor levels that might hinder my trade from going in my direction. And truth be told, I just looked left and I saw that the market tested here, tested here, tested here, tested, you know, there was a lot of cluster around here. And truth be told, as the market was coming up, it came here and started to collapse all the way to the downside. But the thing about minor levels is that the market will always come back around and break it to go and test the overall level, as you've seen thus far. So I'm currently in this trade and I'm probably up about 120 pips so far, and my overall target is this blue zone. Now guys, once we break this blue zone, we're gonna come from this blue zone to this blue zone. You have to understand, excuse me, my chest seems to be hurting me. 2 minutes. Now you have to understand another trick about this market is that the markets move from zone to zone. As you can see, this market moved from this zone to this zone. Once it was done from this zone, it moved from this zone to this zone. Okay, so the market just keeps going from zone to zone. So now your duty as a trader is to basically try and profit from when the market is moving from one zone to another zone, from one major level to another major level. So literally, if we can break above here and close into this region, I know that all I need to do is position myself in such a way that I'm going to profit from when this market wants to take off from this zone to this zone. So now it starts to make a lot more sense, right? Once we break and close above this level about here, I'll be pretty much bullish, right? I'll be looking for more buy opportunities. I can now scroll over to a lower time frame, be like the 4-hour time frame, and look for, you know, nice opportunities. So something like this, right? Maybe the market is going to come here, pull back down here, and then we're going to have a little something like this. Now you have to understand that even when the market is going from here to here, it's not just going to go straight like this. We're going to have what they call slight pullbacks like this. We're gonna have slight pullbacks like this. Move higher. We're gonna have slight pullbacks like this. Okay, pullbacks. Maybe we can now shoot out a bit more. Okay, and pull back again, and then we can now have another final push to the upside. Now, because I know that the overall move is from here to here, once the market starts to do all this wave up and down, I can now come and be waiting for pullback trades. I can now have different strategies to capitalize off of this pullback so that I can literally catch all these swings to the upside. So guys, I hope I've been able to explain to you guys, first of all, how to plot your support and resistance. Don't forget, you have to first of all come on a higher time frame, weekly and daily, plot your major levels, look for the most significant turning points in the market. You can always feel free to come back and watch this video if you want to learn how to plot some more support and resistance so that you guys have a better understanding. Now I'm going to take one more chart, which is going to be gold. So we're just going to go over gold really quickly. Oh, I already had levels on my gold, sorry about that. I'm just going to quickly go over gold. Now, what is the first rule? Rule number one, we must come on the weekly time frame, right? Come on the weekly time frame to basically try and understand what exactly is happening, right? We're going to look out for the most obvious levels, right? The most obvious levels in the market, right? The first most obvious level is about here, the bottom. Always come and take the bottom first, right? Even the bottom seems, I think I need to move it slightly. Can you see? I could keep it here, but I can see that there's a wick on the left hand side. So I need to put my level in such a way that the wick and the bodies of the candle I need to put in such a way that the zone covers the body and the wick of the significant zone, excuse me, right? So that's the first level that I'm interested in. The next level I'm going to be interested in is this level about here. Right? Now I'm going to look in the middle for another level that I might be interested in. I think somewhere about here looks pretty decent, right? And you guys are wondering, oh my days, how is it doing this? Now guys, this comes with a lot of practice, right? So these are the major levels that I feel the market is going to play out. So feel free to come and try out some more areas that you might think are working, that might have some major levels. So now, as you can see, I'm pretty much struggling to find a clear major zone, like about here. Okay, so I think I like these levels, right? Like so, about here. Okay, about here. So these are basically the levels for gold, and they're gonna play out for months to come. So let's just map out the ones in between, and then I'm going to be showing you guys how you can map out potential levels for the future as well. Okay, so this is looking pretty decent on a weekly time frame. Now, in order for you to predict, for instance, now this market is pretty much in no man's land. There's no immediate historical price action for me to use as my support and resistance. All I need to do is I'm just going to look left a little bit more, right? I'm going to look for the most significant turning points in the market, and the most significant one at the moment looks like here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you can see, if I also look into what's happening now, because of this area, gold is stalling at the moment, and after here literally the next area of resistance, if we take out this level, is going to be this one about here. Okay, it's going to be this one. All right, so when I now zoom in, you can see how my chart now looks really clean. Just extend this here, adjust it slightly. You can see how my chart now looks really clean. Okay, and my chart starts to look really clean. Now I can come over to the daily time frame to see exactly what is happening. On the daily time frame, I have noticed that, okay, so now on daily I can just come and adjust it slightly. On a daily time frame, obviously I can identify some minor levels that might be occurring in the market. Don't forget, after you plot your major levels, you can now start looking for areas of minor support as well. I can see this area is a very decent area of minor support. I'm going to clone this, and I'm going to put the next one right about here. Okay, might drag this down a little bit lower, prefer about here. So guys, not to say that I'm going to buy off of these levels, right? This basically, minor levels are not areas you should be buying or selling off of. What you need to do with minor levels are just there for you to know that literally there's something right here. Be careful. Once the market approaches here, you might want to consider taking out some positions. You might want to consider taking out 50% of your position, and so on and so forth. So minor levels just basically help you identify that, listen, there's something there, but I'm not going to be buying or selling off of any minor level. Now guys, as long as gold, let me just give you a little tip, as long as gold sustains above this minor level, we're pretty much looking for more bullish opportunity to the upside. And if I zoom out on this chart a little bit, don't forget we have future resistance levels. Once we blow out of here, our next level target for gold is going to be all the way up here. Now guys, I really hope that I have been able to explain and stress how you go about plotting your levels and how to make them look really, really cool and really, really nice for your trading. Okay, so on that note, I'm gonna have to leave you, and I'm gonna be heading over to my whiteboard, and I have some cool stuff to share with you guys on there as well. All right guys, so I'll catch you on my whiteboard. See you. Bye.